10 guys, 60, 70 girls per social, so nothing as fancy as we used to have, but let's start with that, and that's still an opportunity to meet people. So you're gonna meet people at the socials, you're gonna have individual dates, so by the time it's said and done, you met like 200 ladies, you can talk to, exchange phone numbers, and hopefully there's gonna be some romance that's blooming and you'll find your special person over there. What have guys going to Ukraine during the war said about their experience? Again, they're back in one piece, most of them just complaining about the logistical challenges as far as like taking a train, going through the border. It's highly inconvenient, takes time, it's very tiring, it's unpleasant. But at the end of the day, it's really about the same, the same women there, same dating experience, so nothing really changed. And women are more motivated than ever to meet their life partners because, things changing in Ukraine, and they just reevaluate some things in their lives. How can you be doing a tour during the war in Ukraine? Is it safe? That's a wonderful question. I've heard that quite a few times in the past few weeks since we announced we're gonna have a tour in Kiev. Well, first of all, a lot of you guys have been asking about it for the longest time, for 2.5 years now. And out of all the places in Ukraine, Kiev is the safest place to do it. Of course, we would never take guys to the eastern border when things happen indefinitely. Even Odessa is challenging at times, even though, there is a lot of foreigners. I recently went to Moldova. I didn't go into Ukraine, but I was on a trip to Moldova. And I was staying at this hotel, and pretty much all of it are foreigners, not only Americans. There were British guys, there were European guys, the rest of European guys. And they all going to Ukraine. So Moldova was like the whole gateway to Ukraine. So imagine those, hundreds and hundreds of people just going in and out of Ukraine for different reasons. But it was pretty busy, I can tell. And even now, at this time as we speak, I have over 10 guys in Kiev, just meeting girls and doing their own things. And not mentioning the rest of Ukraine. I had somebody go to Kharkov not that long ago, which that was not a best idea, and I mentioned that's not a good idea. So don't go to eastern border; that is dangerous. But Kyiv is definitely the most protected city, compared to the rest of Ukraine. They definitely have power outages, which is not life-threatening, but it's inconvenience, and you need to take this into consideration because when there is a power outage, everything goes out. It's not only like you cannot charge your cell phone. It's cell phone towers don't work, so you don't have a connection, and you need to be prepared for things like this. So you can't call Uber because power's down. You're stuck where you're at, and you have to wait for the power to get back in. And of course, there is a curfew, which is actually later nowadays. Which I'm trying to remember. It's 10 or 11, or it's later than this. But anyway, it's later at 11, I think it is. For Kiev, some cities it's earlier than this for the safety reasons, but Kiev is fine. Again, compared to the rest of Ukrainian cities. If you do decide to go travel to Ukraine, of course, you obviously have to read all the information. There is State Department warnings and all that, but technically, as far as State Department warnings, is they had this for a lot of a level 4 warning for a lot of countries for the past I don't know how many years. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but you definitely really need to think about it before you want to proceed. But again, as I said, Kyiv is fairly safe compared to the rest of Ukrainian cities. They do have pretty good missile defense, and it's very far away from the active war zone, so there is really nothing going on there. So as of now, things can change, of course, things can happen, but we definitely plan on doing the tour. And we don't foresee anything happening in the next month or 2 or 3 months. If something changes, we'll cancel it. But for now, everything is good. And if the situation stays the same, we're going to have a great tour. We're not going to take more than 10 guys because it's harder to accommodate the large socials nowadays. We don't want to do the socials of 400 or 500 people at this time. So it's going to be smaller socials, 10 guys, 60, 70 girls per social. So nothing as fancy as we used to have. But let's start with that, and that's still an opportunity to meet people. So you're gonna meet people at the socials, you're gonna have individual dates, So by the time it's said and done, you met like 200 ladies you can talk to, exchange phone numbers, and hopefully there's gonna be some romance that's blooming and you'll find your special person over there. How many people went back? But I was doing the Skype calls and talking to a lot of people in Ukraine. So many of them went back. What will the age group of the girls in Kyiv for this tour? I would like to answer that question, but I don't have an answer because I don't really know. Everything depends on the list the guys submit, because normally what we do for the tours, each guy submit a list of ladies, about 10-15 profiles they would like to invite to socials. And of course we invite them. Some of them will come, some will not, because they might have some other plans for that night specifically. So it will depend on the age, basically, and the age of guys that we have on the tour and their preferences. And I don't quite have that information, so I don't know what they submitted. Michelle can answer that better, so you can always call Michelle, extension 2009, and ask her how that's looking like. I really don't know. Since the Ukraine tour will be smaller events, the number of women a client can invite to the social reduced to 15 invites. Well, again, I would still suggest for the guys to send 10-15 invites altogether, because not all the ladies will be able to attend. So many are relocated because of the war. They still can live, for example, in Kiev, but they can live in suburbs and commute for them they're 2 hours. And like me, I will come for the individual date, but traveling 2 hours each way, and making it home before the curfew, probably challenging, so they won't come. So yeah, that's why we're trying to still stick to 10-15 invites for the social for the guys. And as far as just having unlimited introduction during the tour, yeah, nothing changed. As many as you can fit within your tour dates, which the tour is 7 days. So send us your list in advance so we can contact the ladies in advance, give them heads up. So don't do it at the last moment when you already arrive. It's going to be a little challenging.
Join men from all over the world as they take a trip and find their future brides. Interested? Learn more at
PoltavaWomen.com.